Hello guys, welcome to another 6th Gen Farmer. Now today, we're actually going to start combining the organic corn. So we're kind of finishing up a field right here. The 9870 is going to stay here, finish this up. We're going to take the 8335 with the grain cart and our 780 and go combine the organic corn. But before we can go to organic from conventional, we have to clean everything out and get all the conventional grain out of that combine and this grain cart. So Dad has an electric leaf blower. We also have this really stupidly powerful air compressor. So I'm gonna open the doors in this, crawl in there, blow that out. He's gonna blow out the corn head, the grain tank, open up the sides, blow everything out in there. Did you happen to grab both headsets when you're at your car, or just one? Huh? Did you grab both pairs of headsets? Just one? Okay. What? Oh, there's one right there. Okay, perfect. Kind of nice in here. So the reason that I'm in the cab and he's out blowing is because when you do the head, you need to have the head and the feeder house running, because if you don't have this head moving, you just kind of blow stuff from one side of the head to the other and you don't really make much progress. So it's really helpful to have the head moving, and unsafe to have the head and feeder house running without someone in the cab in order to stop it. There we go. Everything's cleaned out. Chris came, got the grain cart cleaned out. We took lots of pictures. You can see right where he cleaned out the grain cart. So you just gotta take pictures when you're done so we have proof that you cleaned everything out. So we're closing in on corn harvest, but we're not done yet. We still have a fair amount of conventional acres left to do. And usually we do the organic dead last. But the problem is that we have a predicted storm coming here in the next couple of days. And that organic crop is so much more valuable than the conventional. It's worth it to travel a little bit and try and get it out before that potential storm comes in 2 days. So I believe this will be our 3rd year of harvesting a certified organic corn crop. The past 2 years, the field has averaged like just under 200. Like 1 year was like 198.9, the other year was like 199.3 or something like that. This year we've had a fantastic year. Basically every field has been record-breaking yields so far. We're really hoping in the organic for 210. 210 is our goal. We could potentially see higher than that, but we also could potentially see lower than that. Not for sure. What's really cool about harvesting the organic crop is just, you're really seeing the fruits of your labor, because there's just so much more that goes into it than a lot of people realize. If you guys have been following for the year, you saw how much time and effort and money we put into our row crop cultivator, our 60-foot row crop cultivator this year. And the amount of time that my dad spent adjusting that and calibrating it and just making sure it all works good, and actually cultivating too. So it's, out of everything we harvest, I think the organic's the most rewarding, but at the same time, it's also the most stressful because we have the most risk in it, I guess would be the best way to put it. So before I even got here, Dad already has a load and put it on the truck, which is a good sign. But I'm just curious. I haven't been in the organic cornfield in a while. I just want to walk in a little bit and see what these ears even look like. So in this field we have 2 varieties, or I believe this is a Viking and over there is a Pioneer. All year long the Pioneer has looked better. And this Viking, we had a Viking, I think it was a Viking last year too. But every year the seed this Viking corn doesn't look good. It looks crappy all year, but you get out here and I mean, you have some pretty dang nice looking ears hanging from these corn plants. So it'll be curious to see if there's a big yield difference between the 2 varieties or not. With the organic, you gotta save every year you can. 30,050. Doing a yield calibration. So obviously with organic crop, you can't spray any pesticides, herbicides, or fungicides or anything like that, which is kind of ironic because this video is brought to you guys by Corteva. So earlier this year, I did an Approach Prima fungicide trial on one of our conventional fields, and I have the results right here. I'm going to share with you guys. So side by side, we sprayed Approach Prima, a competing product, and then a test strip. And I have 2 rounds of data from the combine. Actually, we did it from the grain cart on each of those different products and the non-products. And the Approach Prima actually came in second. The competing product beat it out. I'll put all my math on the screen. Basically, we took the weights from the grain cart and the moisture from the combine, and I figured out the wet bushels per acre, and then I used a grain dry calculator app on my phone to get that moisture down to 15.5%. So I'm 15.5% is the dry moisture. I then took the average of those dry bushels per acre and put them on the screen here for you. So the fungicide overall was a good investment. It did yield about 4.5–5 bushels better, and we've been seeing that across basically all of our acres. But the competing product did do about 1.2 bushels better than the Approach Prima did. I'd just like to thank Corteva and Pioneer for being a supporter of the channel this year. Great company, and what's really cool is they said, be honest. They said, do the trial, be honest, and Approach Prima didn't come out in first. There's a lot of different factors that could have varied into that. But either way, still a good product, still had a yield boost, and I believe it actually was a little bit cheaper than the competing product that we went against. So, yeah, thank you, Corteva. Did you see in the news that California asked its residents to stop charging their electric cars?
What's that?
California asked its residents to stop charging their electric cars.
That's real news?
Yeah, there's a heat wave going through California, and apparently their power grid can't handle it.
They say you can't make that stuff up.
Who would have ever saw that coming?
Well, you just got gas in and charge your car. Problem solved.
Don't force me out of bed in your society. Don't push me down the road you've been down. Don't try to fix my head, it's just your anxiety. Don't hurt me now, 'cause I just wanna shout. Don't make me dance to the tune that you're humming. No, my body don't move like that. Don't make me pretend I don't see your shortcomings. You'll be running when I raise a black flag. Get out your bomb and fly away. We'll be dancing with our hands in the air when our new dawn is rising. To the break of dawn. You can't keep me in a cage made of tired ideas. It's rusting out faster by the day. I won't wear your leash, I won't take no deals. I won't stay quiet when there's so much left to say. I'm not buying no rise of suburban life when there's a fire raging just outside our door. You talk about peace on earth and the summer of love while you're sleeping on pills through the war. Get out your bomb and fly away. We'll be dancing with our hands in the air when our new dawn is rising. We'll be dancing.
Okay, so we got the turbo tiller here now, Your blinker's on.
I thought I just shut that first.
All right, we are gonna run this at like, we're gonna try a 90-degree angle, and we're gonna see how much it rattles our teeth out.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, let's. Oh, I gotta turn the steering on.
Is the fuel changed?
Yep. Engage. There we go. I'll see how fast it'll pull it. Not 12.
First always, I was gonna say that just screwed me up. First always lets me go like 8.59.
Okay. Yeah, we'll set it at 9. It is pulling it at 9, so that's good. So this is my sister-in-law, by the way, Macy. I don't know, you've probably been in a couple of videos in the background, but
yeah, we were taking the tanks off of the.
Oh yeah, taking the tanks off the field cultivator
Too slow
tractors.
for Chris.
Is this okay for bump wise? I mean, it's actually not bad. It's just kind of a rocking more than anything.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay, we were wanting this thing to go about 3 to 4 inches deep. Just kind of do a. About right where my thumb is. That's pretty good. I did end up deepening it a little bit. It was not breaking up the ridges from the row crop cultivator as good as I was hoping it would. But that looks pretty, that's a pretty good ridge right there. All right. Meanwhile, there's a combine sitting and a truck that's empty. So the reason we have that vertical tillage machine here before the ripper is because we have a lot of trash atop the ground, and when we do our weed control, which consists of dragging, rotary hoeing, and row crop cultivating, a lot of this trash can cause issues and cause plug ups. So we want to break down this trash as best we can before the next year so that we don't have those issues. So I got 24,000 left here in the wagon. What's the plan?
That's good. I'm bringing you a little more here. And then, then we gotta go get the border stuff.
Oh, I forgot about the border stuff. So where our field borders a conventional field of our neighbors, we actually leave an 8-row buffer around the edge. So that way, if there's some chemical drift from their conventional spraying over to our organic, we don't get that mixed up with our certified organic sellable crop. Because let's say we combine the whole thing and there was a little bit of chemical drift in those first few rows, and they test it when we try and sell it, and it comes out, being positive, not certified organic, then the whole entire grain bin is not able to be sold as organic, which would be a huge, huge loss and would completely defeat the purpose of us doing organic in the first place. So that's why we leave an 8-row buffer around the edge. I was just talking to Dad, apparently this is also required. So not only do we do it to keep ourselves safe, but it is a requirement. So I checked the op center right before we started doing this, and the organic yield, according to yield monitor, was 217. Are you happy with that or not?
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be thrilled with that, except our regular corn is a record that I might not live long enough to see us break that. And regular corn is $7 bushel right now. So,
Yep.
So it's going to be...
What's organic? 12, 13?
11 and 12.
11 to 12?
So it yielded 15% less. And we're getting paid 40% more. Yeah,
So it's still overall.
Oh yeah, I know it works. It just
is it worth the time and effort?
Well, it still is.
It is, but I mean that's the question that people have to ask when they, there's a lot of, I was explaining earlier, there's a lot of little BS things that you needed.
There's a lot of paperwork.
Yeah,
I can't think, but there's always little things you gotta.
Well, like we can't even spray around our our green setup anymore, or our
Right.
we can't even spray around the storage site anymore, and that's just one of those things. And
Yeah, there's a lot of little, I'd say
nitpicky things you need to
that-
think about on a daily
that's
basis.
part of the process.
Yep.
So the blowing stuff out.
I forgot about that. Blowing stuff out.
Because every time we move grain, it's quite a hassle to make sure everything's clean, and
Yep. Yeah. Any cross contamination in grain storage, that's a big problem.
we're gonna have to build. That's why if you're gonna do just a little bit of organic and you're still farming conventionally, I don't know if it's worth it. You got to have enough. You kind of got enough volume to make it go through all the BS that's involved.
Yep.
If you're conventionally farming also, so that would be my thought. If you spend so much time to get ready, you might as well be doing
Yeah. Like
acres when you're doing.
Like if we had 3 more fields of organic corn, it would take us no less time in the little nitpicky stuff than it would
Yeah.
doing one little field.
Well, we've had a lot of misses. I would say at this point I'm back to 0.
Yeah, we're probably, with all the organic, we're probably breaking even to what we would have had if we would have kept it conventional. That's
Last-
kind of what we figured out.
Last year, this very farm, I gave up a lot of, or we all gave up a lot of money.
Yeah.
Second year transition in the rye, and it was the biggest disaster I've ever had in my life. And it was
Yep.
not a good deal.
No.
Not with beans. Of course, our beans didn't yield. Our beans were not very good last year because
I think, what do they average? 14 bushels per acre here? But not only
Yeah.
that, I think they average like 12.
Yeah.
But you had to fight it the whole time.
And then we dished up a good share of them. And
Yeah.
it was not a good deal. It looked like I thought it was going to be such a big. I had visions of a really good deal, and it just everything went bad. And the problem is there's such a learning curve whatever you do. And
Yep.
I know corn and soybeans. I don't know all this other stuff. And like the old saying goes, to be on the cutting edge is awfully bloody, and it was pretty bloody.
So I know next year we're hoping to get peas here for part of it, and soybeans for part of it.
Yep.
It's still really up in the air on what we're doing next year, but we hope to get peas. The sweet corn ended up being a better deal than we thought it would be this year. Of course, the sweet corn yielded really good.
We'll have to talk about sweet corn. The biggest problem with the sweet corn is the sweet corn plant, for anybody that's grown sweet corn, is such a weak. They just don't take the mechanical. It's hard to use mechanical weed tools on organic sweet corn because it's such a weak little plant. You can't. I could get scared and broke over before you even get to it.
Yeah.
So that's a problem with
The sweet corn.
the sweet corn. Hopefully the peas, they harvest it before you have seeds on the weeds. And the corn, you might as well just raise corn.
If it plays out, I've heard that if it plays out absolutely perfectly, you can still plant soybeans after the peas, but for short growing season.
Well, we
don't
have an
know how.
acquaintance that did it last year, did it very well.
But it all depends on when it gets planted, when it gets harvested.
If organic beans are $30 and they get it harvested on July 1st,
Yeah,
it's gonna be
hard.
It's probably gonna be a little more tempting than it should be. But so my whole idea with the peas is to get a crop in there that breaks the wheat cycle.
Okay.
You can get it. Nothing goes to seed. You can do mechanical tillage and plant a cover crop, and just have 1 year of no weed issues. So the minute you introduce some soybeans, because they'll get that high and they won't shade. So you haven't gained anything weed control wise.
If you do 2 crops, you're saying?
If you try to double crop the soybeans.
Okay.
So but like I say, if bean prices are where they are now, and
It's gonna be
it'll
very,
get peas, and
very
get them off,
tempting.
and it's not raining and whatever, it's gonna be awfully hard to say no.
No.
But if we put the peas on this farm, This one's so cut up and hard to cultivate that might make it easier. If it was a square quarter.
Yeah. No, this one with this place, cultivating around all this stuff, kind of sucks. I haven't even done it. I just know it sucks from watching you do it.
This farm, I never would have picked this one to be an organic farm, but we had a wet year in, was it 18?
Yeah, I think so. So we
took prevent plant,
and that was our first transitional.
and that counts as 1 year of transition. So that's why this farm good. We
Yep.
system tiled it that summer, and yeah, so that's why this farm is organic.
So the other fun thing you do with organic is get your trash bag, find your buttonweed, and I'm getting both hands. Just give me a second. The likelihood that's going to stay there is 0.
I want your help. Well, here.
I'm holding this. Okay. Let's just stay there, right?
Yeah, like I think about 80% of them are